Hey guys, it's Eric from D&E The Garage. So, I'm bringing you the first episode of the retrospective build of Barney. So, my idea around this is that we're going to go through everything I've done to this lovely Jeep I have here since the beginning of me owning it. And this is going to be the first episode of it. And what I'm going to basically give you guys here is the backstory of Barney. Because Barney wasn't always this lovely piece of machinery. Sorry, I had to make myself laugh there. So, Barney started off in upstate New York. It was my cousin's grandmother's car. She bought it brand new. So the options you see with it, it came with. It didn't really come with a lot. It's the Laredo package. It has the power bucket seats, has the EVIC control center, the control center in the bottom. It had overhead lights on the light itself. That's really about it. There's nothing else special about this. It was a 355 geared Dana 30 and Dana 35 with rear drums in the back, and it had a 249 transfer case with a straight 6, and that literally was the base package you pretty much can get for these cars. Except you could have gotten manual seats that this did not come with, which I like. It had dual powers. Now, it started its life up there in upstate New York, which basically transformed into why it's the rust bucket that it is. When in upstate New York, it spent its life in snow and salt. So that's why I have rust all underneath the carriage, back there. It just made for not a great, long-lasting vehicle, in many people's opinion. But I think it's still a great car. So yeah, started upstate New York, was driven with salt and snow. That's why it has rust. It wasn't originally, it was taken care of pretty well, pretty decently. It had a couple problems out there, like the gauge cluster did break at one point. So I have a little sticker on there right now that says the actual mileage is this, keep going to this. Lo and behold, it broke again. But yeah, so then from being my cousin's grandmother's car, became my cousin's car. They had it for several years, where it got taken care of pretty decently, but had its fair shares of things and dents. Like in over here, I'm sure you guys all remember seeing the side damage I had. That's not a trail scar. That is actually where a garbage truck backed into this, and when it was parked at the end of their street. And I remember my cousins calling me up. I was like, "How do we get this out?" I was like, "If it doesn't affect closing the door, just leave it." So that's why it's still there. And there was other stories of it overheating with my cousins, blowing radiator hoses and stuff like that. So it's seen a good long life. I ended up getting it when it had about 170,000 miles on it. It was sitting in my aunt's driveway, and here's a couple pictures of it as it was when when Doug and I first saw it. And it wasn't starting. So Doug and I showed up to Yonkers, New York, which is about an hour and 10-minute drive from here, and we tried starting it, and like I said, it wouldn't start. So we started going around the whole motor trying to figure it out. It sounded like a bad starter, but we wanted to make sure. So we ended up getting underneath the car and started banging the starter, and I never forget Doug saying, "I know it's a starter because of how much oil is on it." It apparently had a valve cover leak and no one knew about it, so it was just covered in oil. We ended up pulling the starter right there and then, running down to AutoZone and picking one up and putting it in. And right after that, the Jeep started fine. Never had a problem with it. And they drove it for a couple weeks that way. And then my aunt called me and was like, "Okay, we really don't want the car anymore. If you want it, come get it and we'll figure it out." So that's what I did. I went out there. I didn't even go out there, actually. My cousins ended up dropping this off for me at my house, basically because I never had time to go back out there and get the car. Now, there's a lot of things that I did that I discovered once it got here, but you know, the first thing I do when you get a new car, you get all excited about it. So I was thrilled. This was my first Jeep ever that was actually going to be mine. I'm gonna throw a couple more pictures up here. My brother had a 96 Jeep Cherokee, lifted 5.5 inches on a Rubicon Express lift kit, a sport 2-door model, really cool, nice big lift. Did a lot of work with him on that. And then my buddy Ben had a 96 Jeep Grand Cherokee, picture here, not Jeep Grand Cherokee, Jeep Cherokee, that we did a small lift on and tires, and I love that one. That one had a HO motor in it and a bunch of little work that he did to it. The thing would pull like crazy. It would have a lot of snot. And then we have Willie, which you guys all know Willie, and I was always on Doug's side of what we should be doing on this, and we both had so many cool ideas on it. So that's why I ended up finally getting my own Jeep. And the day I got it, Doug had a big grin on his face because it's like, you finally got a Jeep. We got to do some fun stuff to it. So this was a very slow build for me. I always had at least one intention involved, which was plowing. So a lot of the focus of my videos will see that I geared most of my stuff just to make it a little bigger, a little more fun, and then make it a plow Jeep. And that was my main real goal for this project. Is I need a rugged, built, tough plow Jeep that can just push snow for me, because I live in northern New Jersey. We get snow all winter long, and you know, I decided I want to make a little extra cash if I can, and I want to be able to do my driveway with ease. So with that, I built Barney, and we're gonna go through everything I did on Barney. We're gonna go from where I've gone through 2 different cheap lift kits on it, which I'll explain in 2 different videos, and show you guys how to do it. So this is pretty much gonna, this is pretty much gonna be how you lift a Jeep cheap in 2 different ways. And then I'm gonna show you things I need to do now. I need modifications now before the next plow season. I'm gonna show you guys what I did in the past to make things work, where I failed, where I've won, where I've exceeded, and where I have pain and love points with the Jeep. So really, that's kind of be the storyline of this series. I don't know how many episodes it's going to be, but we're going to have fun as we go along. I'm going to show you guys how I swap transfer cases. I'm going to show you guys how I did my Dana 4004A swap and a Dana 4035 with 373 gearings in it. In the front, I'm going to show you how to replace my track bar in this soon because it needs it. I'm going to show you guys already seen I did the alternator swap, but I'm going to show you how and the actually AC delete. You already seen videos on that, but I'm going to show you how I have different sets of wires on this, how I have, here's a good one, 3 coils. We'll go down that road with you on this car. Only one in use though, and I'm going to show you everything in this car that I've done, touched, and why, and if it's good or bad. Pretty much that's how it's gonna go. So stay tuned for more episodes. If you guys like this, leave some comments in the squawk box and hit the like button. If you don't, let me know why. Tell me if you want to see something different. On another note, I gotta mention our gear. We've got some stickers and sweatshirts and t-shirts out there. You know that we got our sweatshirts, t-shirts, and all a bunch of stuff on Teespring. You know you got our stickers on Etsy. And if you guys don't want to buy anything, hit us up on Patreon. Give us $1. Give us whatever you can just to keep us going every month. We want to do bigger, better builds than just telling you how I did this one and doing the projects I got on it. I love this Jeep, don't get me wrong, and I think it's cool. I love this thing. It's the Jeep that won't die on us, as Doug would put it. And I want to show you guys more, but we need some support. So it's lo and behold, you know, we love doing this for you guys, and we'll keep doing it to the end. But you want to see bigger, better things in D&E, we need some Patreon. But not, it's cool. Whatever you guys can do, you can do. Anyways, I'm off. This is Eric from D&E Garage, and I'll catch you in the next episode of the build of Barney. For any of you guys that don't believe this came from New York, there's the inspection sticker that I still currently rock on this car since I've got it from my cousins. Yep. I never bothered taking it off because one great thing about a 93 Jeep Grand Cherokee is that you don't need inspection on these cars because they're that old in Jersey that they don't need it.